Hello crafty friends, I'm Lien from Studio Kato and I'm so glad you're joining me again today. This card is part of my Merry Monday series here on YouTube, where I make a Christmas card or a holiday themed card every Monday leading up to Christmas. This one's a fun one if you're crunched for time for the holidays. There's still a lot of time left, but sometimes you just need a quick project to get you started on your Christmas crafting. This card and envelope only took me 10 minutes to make, and I started out by stamping a large sentiment and some snowflakes on there in Versamark ink, and these stamps are all from the Season's Greetings stamp set by Mama Elephant. I used my Misti to stamp out the sentiment so I could make sure that one was stamped really well, and then I used some acrylic blocks to stamp a bunch of snowflakes around the sentiment. I'm working on Clairefontaine DCP 250 GSM cardstock, but I think any cardstock would work for this technique. You just need something that would take ink well. Now, after stamping all of this out, I can sprinkle on my embossing powder. I am using the metallic silver embossing powder by Wow today, and this will pair nicely with the blues I'll be using for my background. Speaking of my background, let's get right into it. I am using some ink cubes and just stamping those ink cubes right onto the cardstock to create a nice ombre background. This is super quick to do, obviously, since this whole card only took me 10 minutes to make, and it's also really fun. I'm using 8 ink cubes by Pinkfresh Studio. You definitely don't need that many, but I wanted to get some teals into this background, just not too much. So I am first doing a layer of teal inks, 4 inks, to get a nice ombre effect. And I'm doing that all teal, but most of this will be covered up with all the blues I'll be putting on top of it. And you might not even see this teal in the finished project on camera, but in real life you can definitely see it poking through the blue that I put on top, so I think it was definitely worth it to do that little extra step. I will list all of the ink colors I used in the description down below if you're curious, but these are Pinkfresh Studio inks, and I think these ink cubes are great for it because they are those felt ink cubes and they have a really nice texture when you just stamp them down onto the cardstock. And you can definitely still see that texture in the finished project, which I really love. I really love this texture instead of the smooth background you would get from ink blending or watercolor, which is definitely something you could do with this design, but I really like that little extra detail in the background. Now, to assemble this card, I am propping that panel up onto not one, but 2 pieces of cardboard. I really like my dimension, so I figured why not go for gold. I'm putting these 2 pieces of cardboard together, then layering that behind my panel, and I'm using my Barely Art Precision Craft glue for that. Then I can use that same glue to adhere this whole thing to my top folding white note card. I'll also make sure to list the cardstock I use to make card bases out of down below, because that's even cheaper and even sturdier than the Clairefontaine one that I use for inking techniques or alcohol markers. So the Clairefontaine one, while still a budget cardstock, is my good cardstock, and the one I use for card bases is just my cheap cardstock that is only good for die cut layering and card bases. Now for my matching envelope, I found this pattern paper that just has some snowflakes on it. It's white paper with blue snowflakes, so it matches my card nicely, and it doesn't take a lot of effort to make. I just folded this out of the pattern paper, and I used my We Are Memory Keepers 123 punch board for that. Now I'm adhering the envelope together with the Barely Art Precision Craft glue. And that's it, a card and envelope done in 10 minutes. It was really that easy, it was really that quick, and I think the result is quite bold. I love the shine on that silver embossing powder, and I really love how it pops against the dark blue background. And the texture in the background reminds me a little bit of ice crystals on a window pane, so that's a fun nod to snow as well. I really like it. I actually loved this background so much that I made another card with this inking technique, and you will see that tomorrow if you tune back in. I'm not going to use it in a background this time, but on a focal image, and it was really fun to make, also super quick, and I think the result was even better than this one. So I hope I will see you back tomorrow. I also hope you liked this card and video. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up on this video and leave your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to read them. Of course, you can also subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of my videos, and if you want to be notified every time I post a new video, make sure to hit that bell button down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.